Close your eyes and imagine this. The year is 10,000 BCE. Humanity is still in its infancy, living in small nomadic groups, scavenging food where they can, and hunting with primitive tools. The concept of civilization? It doesn't exist yet. No cities, no agriculture, no temples, at least that's what we used to believe. But then, on a barren hilltop in southern Turkey, archaeologists discovered something that shattered this comfortable narrative. Something so ancient, so advanced, and so puzzling that it rewrote the history books practically overnight. Welcome to Göbekli Tepe, the site that changed everything. At first glance, Göbekli Tepe seems deceptively simple. Large, circular stone enclosures stacked one on top of another, partially buried beneath the dirt, unused for thousands of years. But dig deeper, literally, and what's revealed will leave you speechless. Massive limestone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, carved with intricate designs of animals, ranging from snakes to lions to vultures. The sheer size and complexity of these structures suggests something far beyond what we'd expect from small bands of hunter-gatherers. And here's the kicker. Göbekli Tepe is over 12,000 years old. In other words, it predates the invention of agriculture, the domestication of animals, the wheel, and even pottery. It's the absolute oldest known temple in the world, and yet it stands as clear evidence that humanity was capable of coordination, artistry, and vision far earlier than anyone had ever imagined. But that raises a question, actually several questions. Who built Göbekli Tepe? How did they do it? And most importantly, why? Let's start with the who. At first, archaeologists assumed that this sophisticated site must have been built by an organized farming community. After all, that's the pattern seen elsewhere in history. Advanced architecture usually correlates with settled societies. Yet every piece of evidence found at Göbekli Tepe suggests otherwise. There were no signs of permanent dwellings, fields, or domesticated plants and animals nearby. The builders were likely hunter-gatherers, relying on wild resources from the surrounding environment. So how did a society without agriculture pull off one of the most impressive engineering feats of its time? The answer lies in teamwork and determination. To move stones weighing tons, they had to have a sizable workforce, as well as ropes, sledges, and sheer human willpower. But perhaps even more impressive than the physical labor is the conceptual leap involved. These people weren't just stacking rocks. They were deliberately designing enclosures, carving symbols, and erecting towering pillars in specific layouts. They were committing themselves to large-scale cooperation, guided by a shared vision. Which leads us to the why. Why would hunter-gatherers dedicate so much time and energy, a resource that was extremely precious, to creating Göbekli Tepe? The answer remains elusive, but there are plenty of intriguing theories. Göbekli Tepe was almost certainly a spiritual place. Its carvings suggest it was used for rituals or ceremonies, possibly revolving around death, rebirth, or the cycles of nature. Many researchers believe it may have been a gathering place where different groups came together to bond or share resources. Some even speculate it was the birthplace of religion itself, that here on this remote hilltop, humans first began to grapple with questions of existence, community, and the divine. But here's where things get even stranger. Göbekli Tepe might not have just been a product of culture, it may have actively shaped it. Think about it. Large-scale projects like this require organization, leadership, and the ability to sustain workers over long stretches of time. Some archaeologists theorize that the need to build Göbekli Tepe might have been the very thing that drove humans to invent agriculture. In other words, it wasn't farming that led to temples. It was temples that led to farming. And yet, for all its brilliance, Göbekli Tepe wasn't eternal. For reasons we still don't fully understand, the site was eventually abandoned and deliberately buried around 8000 BCE. Whoever covered it seemed intent on preserving it for posterity, almost like they knew its importance, as though they were leaving behind a message for future generations. Look what we were capable of. Remember us. Today, Göbekli Tepe continues to baffle scientists and historians. Every stone, every carving, every buried layer adds a new piece to the puzzle. Was it the work of shamans? Or did it reflect a broader spiritual awakening? Did its construction spark a domino effect that laid the groundwork for civilization as we know it? And most tantalizing of all, is it the only one? Could there be other undiscovered sites out there that tell an even older story? One thing is certain. Göbekli Tepe challenges us to rethink everything we thought we knew about the evolution of human society. It reminds us that the spark of ingenuity, creativity, and belief has always been with us, even in the most primitive of times. It shows how humans, even before agriculture or cities existed, were capable of dreaming bigger than mere survival. Göbekli Tepe isn't just a temple. It's a reminder of our ancestors' determination, vision, and shared purpose. They might not have written their names in history, but they left us something far more profound, a mystery to unravel, a structure to marvel at, and a legacy that stretches far beyond the reach of time. So the next time you look at a skyscraper, a cathedral, or even a simple stone wall, think back 12,000 years. Think of the people standing on that windswept hill, working together to build something they couldn't possibly imagine, lasting as long as it has. And remember, humanity has always been more capable, more creative, and more connected than we give it credit for. Göbekli Tepe changed everything, and it's still changing us today.